The fastest plane of World War II was made of wood, and when the Mosquito first tore across European skies, German pilots radioed in disbelief, insisting it had to be some secret American project. Behind those stunned eyes lay a brutal truth. The so-called wooden wonder, built in furniture factories from non-strategic materials and dismissed as Freeman's folly, could outrun, outmaneuver, and outthink its metal adversaries without a single defensive gun. The British Air Ministry nearly killed it, not once, but repeatedly. Yet from November 1940, the Mosquito shattered speed records, forced the Luftwaffe into a desperate technological race, and made the legends of heavy bombers obsolete. How did a gunless wooden prototype turn into the plane that rewrote the rules? And what did it cost to gamble everything on sheer speed? In the spring of 1940, inside the corridors of the British Air Ministry, a proposal landed on the desk of Air Marshal Wilfred Freeman that defied every expectation. Geoffrey de Havilland, a designer with a reputation for audacity, pitched a bomber with no guns, no armor, and a body made almost entirely of wood. The idea drew scorn from traditionalists who dismissed it as a reckless fantasy. Soon, the project was branded Freeman's Folly in ministry memos and backroom whispers. Official correspondence from May and June reveals the pressure mounting. Lord Beaverbrook, the Minister of Aircraft Production, called for resources to be diverted to proven metal bombers, arguing that wood belonged in pianos, not warplanes. Freeman refused to yield. He saw the Mosquito not as a gamble, but as Britain's best chance to outpace the enemy, and he staked his career on its promise. Letters between Freeman and de Havilland show a partnership marked by urgency and risk, with both men aware that a single misstep could cost them everything. By December, after heated debates and a stack of skeptical reports, Freeman forced through an initial order for 150 Mosquitoes without a single combat trial. The decision sent shockwaves through the Air Ministry. For the first time, speed and vision outweighed doctrine and tradition. The fate of the wooden wonder now rested on whether it could deliver more than just hope. On a cold morning in November 1940, the Mosquito prototype lifted off from the Hatfield airfield, its twin Merlin engines roaring to life. The airframe, built from layers of spruce and balsa, glided through the clouds with a smoothness that metal rivals could not match. Marine varnish sealed the interior, guarding against moisture and rot, a small detail, but vital for survival in Europe's damp climate. Test pilot Geoffrey de Havilland Jr. pushed the aircraft to its limits, clocking speeds that surpassed even the Spitfire. The Mosquito reached over 380 miles per hour on its first serious runs, stunning the small crowd of engineers and RAF officers who watched from the ground. The doped fabric skin shimmered under the winter sun, proof that wood could be molded into a fighter's shape and still outpace steel. The results reached the Air Ministry within days. Despite the lack of guns or armor, the Mosquito's performance erased doubts. By September 1941, the RAF declared it operational, and production ramped up across Britain's woodworking shops. The initial order for 150 aircraft, placed months before the prototype ever flew, now looked less like a gamble and more like foresight. Each new Mosquito that rolled off the line carried the marks of hundreds of craftsmen, furniture makers, piano builders, coachwrights, working in secret to turn an improbable idea into a war-winning reality. The proof was now in the sky, and the world's fastest bomber was ready for combat. In the cockpit of a Mosquito, even the smallest mistake could be fatal. Pilots called it a nervous thoroughbred, a machine that demanded absolute focus. The aircraft's high power-to-weight ratio and tight wing loading made it blisteringly fast, but also unforgiving. Board of Inquiry reports tell the story. If one engine failed on takeoff, control vanished below 172 miles per hour. That number became infamous in training halls and squadron briefings. Only the most disciplined crews were cleared to fly Mosquitoes on operations, and the RAF selection was ruthless. A single lapse in judgment, a moment's hesitation on the throttle, and the aircraft would snap out of control. Historian Bill Sweetman wrote, "You didn't fly a Mosquito, you negotiated with it." The risk was real, and the cost was paid in lives. But for those who mastered its temperament, the Mosquito offered something no other aircraft could: the chance to outpace death itself. On January 30th, 1943, Berlin's air raid sirens wailed as Mosquito bombers swept in, engines howling above the city just minutes before Hermann Goering was scheduled to deliver a national broadcast. The timing was no accident. RAF crews had synchronized their attack to the second, cutting through German radio with the roar of Merlin engines and the thunder of high explosives. For 220 nights, Mosquitoes returned to Berlin and other key targets, their sudden strikes disrupting speeches, blacking out propaganda, and shaking the confidence of a city that once believed itself untouchable. Luftwaffe diaries from the period are filled with frustration. Fighter squadrons scrambled, but the Mosquitoes were gone before interceptors could reach altitude. Goring's anger boiled over in a staff meeting where he famously declared, "I turn green with envy when I see the Mosquito." The British knocked together a beautiful wooden aircraft that every German pilot wishes he had. Each raid chipped away at German morale, forcing the Reich to divert resources and rethink defenses, while the Mosquito's legend grew with every mission completed and every speech left in ruins. A single Mosquito could be built as a bomber, then refitted as a night fighter, or stripped for high-altitude photo reconnaissance, all on the same airframe. By the end of the war, no fewer than 40 distinct versions had entered service. Some carried 4 20mm cannons and machine guns in the nose, while others swapped weaponry for cameras that captured the first images of enemy rocket sites. Pathfinder variants led bomber streams, dropping flares to guide heavy bombers to their targets. Others, painted black and fitted with radar, hunted enemy aircraft in the night skies above Europe. The Mosquito even served as a courier, a weather observer, a trainer, and a target tug for gunnery practice. Each new role demanded only minor changes to the basic design, proof of an airframe built for adaptation. From the factories of Hatfield to outposts in Burma and the Pacific, the Mosquito's shape was constantly reinvented, its versatility unmatched by any aircraft of its generation. On the morning of February 18, 1944, Mosquito bombers swept over the French countryside, flying so low that their wingtips skimmed hedges and telegraph wires. The lead aircraft accelerated to nearly 250 miles per hour, engines thundering just 15 feet above frozen ground. Pilots held their course by instinct and split-second calculation, lining up for the eastern wall of Amiens prison. At less than 60 feet, bomb doors snapped open. 2 500-pound bombs dropped, their delayed fuses ticking as the Mosquitoes roared past. Masonry erupted in a cloud of dust and snow, tearing a breach more than 60 feet wide through the perimeter. Within seconds, the crews banked hard, racing away before the shockwave could catch them. Every detail of the run demanded absolute nerve. There was no room for error at that height or speed. Within minutes of the wall collapsing, prisoners surged through the breach, scrambling over fallen stone and tangled wire. The chaos was immediate and total, shouts echoing across the ruined yard as men rushed for freedom. French resistance members, political detainees, and common criminals alike darted into the snow, some vanishing into the countryside, others cut down or recaptured within sight of the prison. Official records counted 255 escapes that day, a figure confirmed by both British intelligence and post-war French reports. Most who made it out were rounded up in the following hours, but nearly 80 evaded the dragnet, slipping past German patrols with the help of local sympathizers. The guardhouse, struck by a direct hit, was left a smoking ruin. Roughly 50 guards were killed or wounded in the blast, leaving the remaining prison staff powerless to restore order. For those who escaped, the Mosquito's low pass meant a second chance, however brief, bought at the edge of disaster. Over 40 distinct variants entered service, and archival mission logs show Mosquitoes flew thousands of sorties, from Berlin raids to Operation Jericho's low-level strike on Amiens prison, where 255 prisoners escaped. German documents reveal the aircraft's speed left Luftwaffe commanders, including Hermann Goering, WWII, openly frustrated. Today, historians agree the Mosquito's wooden construction and versatility set the template for modern multirole aircraft. Its legacy is measured in technical innovation, operational impact, and the enduring respect of those who flew it. The Mosquito was not just a legend, it was a proven reality that changed the course of aerial warfare.